You contested against the incumbent governor in 2022. Did you have an idea of his personality as at that time? And when he won the election, what was your expectation of him and his administration?
To be frank with you, we were in this cabinet together. When I was commissioner, he was a special advisor at a point, and then later on became, in fact, he succeeded me in the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. So I have a fair idea about him, even back then. Of course, I didn't know him prior to joining that administration. I didn't start with that administration. I joined them part way. But from the little I knew about him, my expectations were actually, high for him. Okay, realistically high, not extraordinarily high, because he has been part of previous administration of Adebayo. And in fact, at a point, I understand he was the chief of staff of Governor Adebayo. And then also prior to that, he was a lecturer in EXU, probably did almost all his education and career in Ekiti. Therefore, I expected that if anybody really should understand the dynamics of Ekiti, he should. And the sentiment of some people in favor of him was that he's an homegrown person, their own person, because there's this, distrust for those of us who have really not grown in Ekiti, coming to provide leadership there. So the expectation was that this is our own person who is going to listen to us and deliver on good governance. So those were my expectations, okay, that he understands the dynamics, or he should understand the dynamics, and that he should know who is who in Ekiti, having been part of two administrations. In fact, he was also the Secretary to State Government of second term of Governor Fayemi. So I saw him as somebody who should have been experienced. And of course, professionally, I think he's also a public administrator by training, and even a lecturer in that field. So my expectations were realistically high.
Now, one of the landmarks of the administration of Biodun Oyebanji is his ability to have brought all the former governors together under a kind of understanding. Now, people are looking at that relationship from different perspectives, some from the negative point of view and others from a positive point of view. What is the angle through which you are looking at this relationship?
Well, frankly, I wonder what the benefits of bringing those former governors together have been to him and to Ekiti people. Because with that kind of bringing people together, I would have seen a reflection of collective wisdom, continuity of worthwhile projects in the past from the various governors that he has brought together. And also, I would have seen that to actually bring better goodwill to him. But what we have seen still makes one wonder, what is the true motive, okay, for bringing them together? Because we are, maybe talking personally, I'm yet to see the tangible benefits of such. Yes, there's been some continuity on certain programs, but those are mostly programs of governments that he was part of, not government of Shekmoni or government of Fayoshe. For example, there are some real estate projects of Sheguni that are still, at least as far as I know, maybe they have addressed it, that are still wasting, okay? Overgrown with bush and all of that. So I'm actually not sure really what the motive is, but if the motive is to benefit from the experiences of these former governors and to apply that wisdom in delivering good governance for Ekiti, then, oh, wonderful, wonderful. Even though it's a good reflection on him personally that he is able to do that, but one will have to ask at what cost and how was it accomplished, and to what purpose. So I'm still not clear. So I've not seen the benefits of it.
Well, when you look at Ekiti State in the last 3 years plus, what is your own assessment of the administration of Oyebanji in terms of development?
Well, in terms of development, really, it's difficult to put a definitive mark on it because it depends on perspective. For example, when I read about the publicity from social platforms, it's all rosy. Okay, or doing this or doing that, opening this or opening that. But when I interact with people on ground, I'm shocked that the feedback is largely negative. Of course, I see some of the bridges that are being constructed. I see bypass that is being constructed, and of course, I also saw some roads that were patched. Of course, already some of them are even in bad state now. But when I look on ground, I really do not see enough to show sterling performance, particularly when one realizes that more resources are coming into Ekiti than ever before. So one should expect to see more, but there are times also I wonder, is it also the case of JKF1 administration, which was being derided for lacking in stomach infrastructure because the people are largely not happy as it is. And I wonder if it is in terms of translating whatever they are doing to the language that people can understand and to meaningful, tangible impact on them as persons, But frankly, I struggle to give this administration a pass mark based on all those dimensions in terms of physical development that I can see, and in terms of resources coming into the state, and in terms of the feedback that I'm getting from the people, and then of course you hear things, but usually I don't judge on the basis of rumors. I try to get more facts, but of course it's often difficult to ignore the rumors altogether.
Mr. Ranti Ajayi, if you had won the 2022 governorship election in Ekiti State, what difference would you have made with the increase in Ekiti allocation?
Oh my goodness, there's so much that can be done in Ekiti. Mind you, Ekiti is one of the smallest states in Nigeria. So the acceleration of development that can be achieved with the resources that are coming in, it's many times over what you can expect in a larger state. For example, I would be more interested in dealing with structural issues that will accelerate the quality of life for Ekiti people socioeconomically, and increasing the capacity for self-sustenance of the state, and making sure that the people themselves really feel the impact of government, and that this spreads across the whole state. And I will be more interested in supporting the local government for self-reliance and sustainability than controlling or hindering their development. So substantially, there would have been a lot of difference in Ekiti because part of my vision is to use Ekiti to showcase to the rest of Nigeria what is possible when you have a visionary, focused leadership and one that is actually there to serve, not to be served.
So at the moment, we are aware of a lot of cross-carpeting, especially from other parties to the APC. You left the APC to the YPP. Where are you at the moment? Are you still within the YPP, or are you back in the fold of the APC?
Well, I'm still with YPP, primarily because, frankly speaking, I have not seen compelling reasons to jump around. I joined YPP based on the manifesto of YPP, even though there could be human issues. You know, Nigeria is Nigeria, but the manifesto of YPP was very appealing to me and very close to my own convictions, you know, and without any ideology or compelling reasons, I will not just be jumping around. So yes, I'm still very much with YPP.
You don't have any attraction towards the APC still, in spite of the
Well,
exodus
yeah,
in the
there's been a
APC.
lot of overtures. Yeah, there's been a lot of overtures, a lot of councils that I should go back to APC and all of that at various levels. But frankly, I'm not interested in public service to serve myself, but to serve the people. And I hesitate many times to be in the midst of people that they are on personal agenda and you know, I may consider that because some parties are in power, that they may accelerate my opportunity to lead and all of that. But unfortunately, once you join some groups, it's difficult to differentiate yourself because the process of being given the opportunity to lead can really hinder your capacity to do what you need to do. So, yeah, so I hesitate. So I look at the pros and cons. You know, yes, definitely I will be interested in serving. I see a lot of opportunities to make life better for our people. But at the same time, that will be a mirage if by the time I get there, I'm not able to achieve any of that because of how I got there. So it's very important for me that how I get there is as important, okay, to getting there. And therefore, I keep myself clean. I keep myself independent minded. I keep myself pure in terms of my motives, you know, not out of arrogance, but out of realization that, look, I know there's a saying that if you want to catch a monkey, you be like a monkey. But I've always told people that if I'm clever enough to deceive a monkey, I have become a monkey. And it's self-delusion to think that after I become a monkey, I will go back to being a human being, you know? So I don't want, I mean, I don't want to fall into that trap that, yes, join them, and then when you get there, you will make changes. How many people has that happened for?
It appears to be an unwritten rule that no governor in Ekiti State does two terms consecutively. But from the beginning of the administration of the Oyebanji, it appears that he wants to break the jinx, and all the governors, former governors, he's been aligned with, have been campaigning from about the first year, the first anniversary of the administration. The endorsement also came, and till today, it looks like the disqualification of members of the APC within the primary election disqualification, even in other parties, appear to be all focused to the achievement of a two-term done consecutively. What do you think about this?
It's really unfortunate to start with that governors don't do second term in Ekiti historically, at least consecutively, because there's always a lot of loss, in continuity. For example, Ekiti Knowledge Zone, when JKF1 was winding down, was a priority project, okay? Fayoshe got there, doesn't even know that such a project existed or didn't pay any attention to it until JKF2 came and picked it up again. Time has been lost, and I conceived that project back in 2013. Okay, we're in 2026 now. Okay, and we're yet to see the result, but thankfully, JKF2 was able to get a grant from African Development Bank for over $83 million just for basic infrastructure in that project. We're still waiting for it to materialize, but that's just an example. There are so many other examples. Even the airport that is just kicking off now was something that I revived back in 2013, 2014, as a part of an integrated economic agenda for the Ekiti Knowledge Zone, knowing the caliber of people that will be coming to that zone and the traffic that will be coming into Ekiti. Okay, so continuity is always a good thing. Okay, let me say continuity is a desirable thing, okay? But that's provided that the people who will be taking over some of these things are actually minded about the development of the people, about delivering of good governance, which sometimes you question. Also, what we've seen about second term incumbents has not been encouraging in Nigeria, and in fact, world over, there's a tendency for people to do well in their first term, to earn a second term, and after they earn a second term, the performance usually dips, not go up. And if what we see of the first administration of this current government is to go by, then that means a second term will actually be even lower than what we have seen now. So, but then we've seen that right from the start, like you mentioned, breaking the jinx has been more of a goal, okay? Which is not a bad thing. It's just, how do you go about it, okay? Are you performing to deserve a second term, or is it more of manipulating your way through, okay? Buying over potential obstacles, with the resources of the state, maybe, if that is the way, then it's really not for the benefit of the people that a second term would be granted. However, where we are in Nigeria, and the situation is unfortunate. So my view personally is that breaking the jinx, okay, should not override the delivery of good governance. In other words, breaking that jinx should be more of a reward for good performance, not something to be desired for its own sake, of breaking the jinx. And unfortunately, that agenda to break that jinx seems to have played out in the level of desperation that we have seen, to the point of even creating violence and behind situations, being accused of being behind situations where you're interfering with the affairs of the other political parties and working against contestants in your own primary contest, I mean, look, if I were in first term, yes, of course, I would like to be given the chance for a second term, but I will want to do it in a manner that is a promotion, that I have passed. It should be a reward for delivering good governance, not because I have seen how to manipulate people and situations. So those are my personal views.
Do you think the Bao administration has a hand in what is going on in the PDP, as well as what happened within the primary election of the APC in terms of disqualification of some contestants?
Well, in terms of primary of APC, look, I'm not an insider, so take my comments within that context, and I'm not privy to any information for me to be able to reel out facts. So all we can do is read the current administration from what had happened. Because how do you explain situations where names are disappearing from party register? Okay, and consistently, these are individuals that are in support of an opponent, a formidable opponent for that matter, one that poses the largest risks to your own ambition, So if it's not the administration that is doing it, certainly they're being done by people who sympathize or support that administration. So there is a correlation there, and therefore the rumors and allegations going about that they have a hand in the rejection or disqualification of contestants in that primary. Those allegations are not without substantial merit, But in terms of interfering with the affairs of other parties, well, there are so many factors that we can see that would have affected that, but certainly the incumbent benefits from the disqualification of the candidates of a major opposing party, and therefore one wonders, one asks the questions. But we know that that party also has its own internal issues, and even those internal issues, when you trace them to Abuja level, you still trace them to the hands of outsiders trying to muddle the water in that party, So all together, they work to reinforce each other. So it is really difficult to not look in the direction of the incumbent and the ruling party when you see the internal issues that the other major opposing party is going through. So that would be my fair assessment of situation. I cannot be specific in alleging anything, but the reality, I mean, the pictures tell you so much that there is invisible hands that are behind controlling these factors and developments.
If you had a say in the conduct of the APC primary, as well as the issues arising on the platform of the PDP, what would you do?
Oh, well, frankly speaking, it boosts the credibility of the winner when there is actually a contest, okay, and electability of the winner, okay. I mean, I would really have allowed a fair contest, and let the winner emerge, okay. In fact, I've never seen it in Ekiti, okay, that the incumbent will be in a situation where he and his supporters are actively looking to remove opponents, even within their own party. I've never seen it. So if I was part of APC and I have an influence, I would have advised them to allow a fair contest. You know, I mean, it's unimaginable that the incumbent would have lost a fair primary. And if he did, then he must be deserving of it. Democracy really should be allowed to prevail in both instances. And but Nigerian environment hardly, at least in the past, hardly do we see democracy being allowed to play out without human interventions and manipulations. So the situation in Ekiti is very, very disturbing.
People of the fountain.